Hi guys, welcome to Rappler Talk Entertainment. I'm Vernice. Today we are here with Miss World Philippines 2017, Laura Lehmann.
Hi. Hi, guys.
Welcome to Rappler.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for waking up so early on Friday. I know everyone just wants to start their weekend already, but thanks for joining us.
So you just won on Sunday.
Yes.
So how are you feeling now that it's had some time to sink in?
Well, I think people are assuming that I've had time to let it sink in, but I
Yeah.
actually haven't. I still can't believe it. It feels funny to me because I go home and I remove all my makeup and I'm still the same person. I sleep
Yeah.
with my dog
Yeah.
beside me, and I still have the same very unhealthy breakfast. So it's just the same. It hasn't really sunk in.
And apparently you bring home your crown with you as well. So every night you have to take it
Yes.
off. Can you
Yes.
tell us, because this is a new crown,
Mhm.
can you tell us a little about it? Is it heavy right now?
It is heavy, and it's actually real. It's made of real jewels. So you can imagine what it's like
Oh my God.
for me to keep it in my room,
kinda
in
scary.
my house. It's
Yeah.
scary because I take it off and I put it on my bed, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, am I supposed to guard it, or because it's expensive. It's a real crown.
Yeah. So you actually won this pageant after joining a pageant previously. For you, what was the hardest part of Miss World Philippines?
I think the hardest part was the pressure, not the pressure not that other people put on me, but the pressure that I put on myself. Because as you mentioned, I joined before in 2014, and I think when you join before, you expect yourself to do better the next time because you're already knowledgeable about pageantry. You know what
Yeah.
it's going to be like, so you want to make sure that you do your best. So that was in my mind the whole time.
Did it help though?
Definitely, it definitely helped because you know the ins and outs of pageants. You know what they expect. You know that you're supposed to be dressed up and look nice all the time, but also at the same time be very friendly to everyone and speak well. So just it's good, as with anything in life, to be prepared.
Yeah. So, did you do anything differently for this pageant?
For this time,
Yeah. Knowing what you did from back then.
I don't think it's that I did anything deliberately differently. I think it's just I was a lot more mature this time.
Oh.
So when I joined 3 years ago, I was fresh out of the classroom. I was studying neuroscience, and I was 19, 20. So you can imagine the vibe was a little bit different. Now I'm 24. I just turned 24. And when you join pageants, you do need to have that maturity because you're fighting to represent your country.
Yeah.
And you want someone who can do a really good job, who can carry the weight of the country, and someone who can make the country proud. Like personally, I wouldn't want someone who's not ready.
Yeah.
So I think that's also the reason why I waited so long, because I wanted to make sure I was mature enough.
Yeah, that's why there was a gap between the previous
Everyone
one.
asked me about that gap, but that's really the reason.
Oh, well, one of the winners in Miss during the pageant is actually also very young,
Yes.
Sophia Senoron, if I'm saying her name correctly. Did you talk to her at all? Because, I mean, I'm sure you've been there, you know, you were around her age also.
Yeah.
Did you give her any advice? Did she ask you anything?
Yeah, she does. She actually asked all of us for advice. She's only 17.
Yeah.
But what's very nice about Sophia is that she's very eager. So I remember when we paid a visit to the Rappler office with Voltaire, she was here and she was asking so many questions. She was very eager. So I think that curiosity is really what helped her throughout the pageant, because she has so much. She's very passionate about it. And when you do something, you have to be passionate about it.
Yeah. And I guess because, well, you joined Binibining Pilipinas previously, and you were first runner-up, and now you're Miss World Philippines. What pushed you to join Miss World instead of Binibini? Yeah.
I think that came as a surprise to a lot of people, because usually when you're first runner-up in Binibining, it's expected that you join Binibining again.
Yeah.
I think I was one of the few who didn't, because that's what happened to Pia. That's what happened to MJ Lastimosa, to Janito Gonon. And I think also when you're runner-up in that pageant, you kind of have an edge or an advantage to win the title the next year, because you're very familiar with the organization and how it goes. So me joining Miss World Philippines was a very big risk for me. But I think at the end of the day, you really just have to do what you love and go for the pageant that you love. Not for the sake of winning. You don't join pageants just for the sake of winning.
Yeah.
You join pageants because you believe in what it does. Because at the end of the day, it's not you. When you're on stage, I don't have a sash that says Laura Lehmann. You know, I have a sash that says Philippines, and I want to make sure that I do a good job and that I love what I'm doing. Because when you love it, that's when you do your best.
But your Binibini sisters were still very supportive of you. I mean, they were all there on Coronation night. Did you guys, did you meet up with them before you went on stage?
I didn't have a chance to meet up with them because we were actually in MOA since, I don't know, maybe like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to see them. But they were there, and we're actually a very close batch. So for the last 4 years, we've stayed in contact. And I think that's a really big indication that pageantry is also about friendship. You know, because you're with these girls all the time. People think that it's very catty and it's like what you see on TV, that the girls are fighting. But it's honestly really not like that. Yeah, we're all very nice to each other, and you know we're
it's really supportive.
It's very supportive. It's like a sisterhood.
Yeah. So. Do you have any best friends here at Miss World Philippines?
Miss World Philippines. Yeah. I think I have. I'm very close to our Reinas Hispano-Americanas Filipinas, Win-Win Marquez. Yes, and I think
another previous pageant.
Yeah, she joined Binibining before, and I think also that's one of the reasons I'm close to her, because we both joined Binibining before. We have the same trainers, so we got very close prior to joining. But I think now I'm very close to everyone. Yeah, regardless of what camp you're in or where you're from, we're all very close.
So let's flash back to Coronation night.
Okay.
Before you were crowned, of course, you had to go through the swimsuit competition, the evening gown competition. What for you was the most nerve-wracking part? Oh, especially because you had Q&A also that night. What was the most nerve-wracking part for you?
Well, for me, I think it was a bit different from other people. I think a lot of the girls were dreading the Q&A part.
Yeah.
But for me, I was dreading the walking part, the swimsuit part, because I know personally I'm not a great performer. I don't have the best catwalk.
Yeah.
And that was my weakness throughout the pageant. So that's the part I was most nervous about. And I think also I'm a little bit more conservative and shy inside. And when you're out making rapa in your swimsuit in front of like the whole MOA arena, in front of thousands of people watching, that got to me. So,
well, what did you do to sort of turn it on, to bring it on that night?
To make sure that I wasn't as scared?
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to have fun, because I knew that this would be my last pageant. This is my second time to join, and
so if you hadn't won this pageant, you weren't planning on joining any others?
No. This is my last.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you won.
I know.
So you were saying?
Yeah. So I just made sure that I wanted to have fun, because I think that when you enjoy yourself, that fear goes away. So I just wanted to make sure that I was happy, because it was my last time. I didn't want to leave any regrets on stage.
And then for evening gown naman, Mark Baumgartner, he designed your gown for you, and he actually designed a lot of your other outfits throughout the pageant. Was there a lot of collaboration there?
Yeah, I'm very lucky, because Mark and I are very close friends. So I'm very lucky to have a friend who's a designer as good as him, because he would provide me clothes, he provided me with a gown, and the thing about Mark also, I think that he was not just invested in making the gown, he was invested in the pageant itself. So he knew what the pageant required. He knew me personally, so when he gave me clothes, it wasn't just like he was giving any girl clothes. He was giving a friend clothes to wear for a pageant that he also loved and he also believed in.
Were you allowed to sort of choose which outfits you wanted
for the pageant?
Yeah.
It was nice, because the new Miss World organization let us choose our own evening gowns.
Oh.
So the evening gowns that we wore kind of represented us in a way, because they weren't assigned to us. We could really bring them in and choose anything that we wanted.
So why did you choose the one that you are wearing in this photo?
Well, there's technical reasons to it,
Yeah.
and I guess mental reasons to it also.
Yeah.
The technical side would be that my body type is a bit straight. I'm less curvaceous maybe than the other girls, so I needed a gown that was bigger.
Yeah.
So that's why on stage my gown was a bit bigger than the other girls, just to give me that shape. And then I guess emotionally and mentally, I also felt more confident in a princess-like gown, because I always wanted to look like a princess.
Yeah,
so
of
that's
course.
what I told Mark.
So what was your favorite outfit during the pageant, if you have one?
Other than the evening gown?
Yeah.
That's a really hard question. Well, we had something called the Beach Beauty Challenge.
Yeah.
And other than just wearing a swimsuit, we also had to bring like a beach dress. And my beach dress was also provided by Mark Baumgartner. It was also red.
So, is red your favorite color?
I think so. I guess so. I mean, all the dresses and gowns that I've been choosing are red. So.
Well, maybe it's also your lucky color.
I hope so. I like to think so.
So, oh, sorry. Going back to Mark, is he going to be designing your gowns also for Miss World for the international pageant?
I think that we want to keep that a secret for now.
Ooh.
Because a lot of people wait to see what your gown is going to be like on Coronation night. So for now, we're keeping it a secret. But I think for the people who know me, they can be very good at guessing and assuming.
Okay. I also loved your answer during the Q&A. I think it was so relevant.
Thank you.
You were asked what you would say to people who think pageants don't empower women.
Yeah.
And you answered, of course, to have a look at the stage right now because there's so many empowered women on this stage. Have you ever been criticized for being a beauty queen?
Definitely. I've definitely been criticized. And I think a lot of that also was part of my background. I was very studious. I was studying neuroscience. I wanted to be a doctor, and I was very into sports. I played on the national team for softball. So you can also imagine that the type of groups that I was surrounded by, groups that were very opposite from the world of pageantry. So of course I did get a lot of that criticism, a lot of that hate. But on the other hand, there were a lot of people who supported me as well. So I think when I was asked that question, I didn't really have to think about it because it came from my heart because I was part of that experience. So I was very lucky to get that question.
What do you think is the hardest part about being a beauty queen?
Especially
today.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I would say maybe it's about the criticism that you get sometimes. People assume that you don't really do anything. But I don't think that's just for today. I think that's just been in history.
Yeah.
People have assumed that about beauty queens. I think today, the hardest part about it is that as a Filipina beauty queen, we've done so well internationally. We have a Miss World. We have the title holders for all the other big pageants. So there's a bit of pressure. There's a bit of pressure because all the Filipinos expect you to do very well, and I want to make sure that I fulfill their wishes.
It's funny that you say that a lot of people don't think that you guys do anything because actually a lot of beauty queens, they join pageants because they want to push for their advocacy.
Because they want to do something.
Yeah. And in order to get on that stage, you have to go through a lot of training too.
You do.
Right. So tell us about what kind of training you went through.
So basically, for a lot of the pageant girls, before you join the pageant itself, you're under a camp or a training camp that teaches you how to walk, how to talk, how to style yourself. And it sounds very simple, but when you're actually in those training sessions, it gets very technical.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're allowed to share the secrets about it, but for example, for our Q&A training, we have a technique called repeat, answer, repeat. So basically, if you're unsure about the question or if you're unsure about the answer, you repeat the question. So for example, you're asked, what is your favorite color? Your answer would be, my favorite color is, that's the repeat part. And then you answer red because red represents passion. And then you repeat again, and that is my favorite color. So it's just to assure you have a beginning and end in the middle. So it's just a little technique. So we learn those little techniques in training.
Oh, that's so interesting. Well, what is the hardest part of training for you?
I think again it would be the catwalk part.
Yeah.
Because I know that's my weakness.
Oh yeah.
And
I'd imagine because you were a TV host and because you were a courtside reporter, like the Q&A would be a little bit easier on you than the other ladies.
Yeah, and as a courtside reporter and as someone who works in the news, you're not walking in heels all the time.
Oh yeah,
so
that's true.
hard because in MOA and in Araneta, we're not even allowed to wear heels on court.
Yeah.
You know, the athletes are playing and you're running around reporting. So I wasn't used to it. I had to get back into the groove of it.
And like I was saying, the reason a lot of ladies join pageants is because they want to get a bigger platform for their advocacies. And yours right now is PREP, promoting rural education in the Philippines. Can you tell us a bit about this organization?
Well, we actually have two. So my personal one is PREP, and then our other one is directly under the Miss World Philippines organization, and we work with the Jose Reyes Memorial Medical Center. So it's a children's hospital, and a lot of the children who are admitted there have cancer or have been undergoing treatment for a few years. Some of the kids were born completely normal, but then just because of a bad case of pneumonia or a bad case of malnutrition, they've gone blind, gone deaf. So when you're there, you really feel parang sayang, diba? Because they were okay. They were okay when they were born. It's just that they got sick and they weren't taken care of well, and that's what happened to them. But then on the other hand, my personal one is called Prep, and basically what we do there is we visit elementary schools in rural areas, in Tagaytay, in Batangas, and we provide a day of fun for the kids. So sometimes maybe we'll bring like a celebrity, because you know naman the kids, they're like so happy when they see someone who they're used to seeing on TV. And we dance with them, we do activities, and then we also prepare lectures for them. And our lectures are very different from what they learn in the classroom, because sometimes I guess when you're in those far-flung areas, your curriculum is very set in stone. And you don't really have time to focus on other things because you're just focused on trying to teach 50 kids crammed in a small classroom. So everything is very direct. So when we go there, we want to teach them more about the world. So we teach them about world geography, about history. So we even had one time like a topic on ancient Egypt, just because those are things that they won't get in their curriculum. But then I think the most important part and what makes it sustainable is that when we go, we give them books. So we always bring books, and then we physically build a library in the school, so that when we leave, the library is still there, the books are still there for them to enjoy. And I think we've donated more than 1 million books already in the different schools that we've been to. So
great.
Thank you.
That's so great. Thank you. So obviously a big part of your advocacy is education. Is this something that you're still going to push for at Miss World, the international pageant, if you win?
Yeah, definitely. I think your advocacies don't start and don't end with Miss World, because you don't need a crown, you don't need a pageant to fulfill them. So it's something that I've been doing since high school, and it's really something that anyone can do. So I know you're both Ateneo.
Yes.
And Ateneo had a lot of stuff like that. So
for sure.
To find organizations to help. And the problem, we were talking about it with my manager, the problem is not really selecting or choosing a Beauty with a Purpose project, because people assume that it's hard to find one. But the real problem is selecting which one, because there's so many and everyone deserves your help.
Did you have a hard time choosing which advocacy to pick out of all of that?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely had a hard time, because to me, I guess I couldn't justify why I chose this one over this one, when in both cases there were people who needed the help. So who am I to say that this kid deserves it more than this kid? It was very hard for me, but I think at the end of the day, it was more which organization I was more comfortable in or more passionate about, and Prep is something that I worked with for a long time, so that's why I chose it.
Well, speaking of Miss World, the international pageant, it's happening this November in China. Are you preparing for that at all? I mean, you have like 2 months to go?
Yeah, actually, I only have 1 month.
Oh.
Yeah, because we leave, I think I leave on October 14. So I only have 1 month to prepare, and there's so much to do in that 1 month. Of course, I also have to train. So I'm getting nervous, but hopefully it will be okay.
Oh, good luck.
Thank you.
Do you have a game plan already, or have you asked for advice from our previous queens? Of course, Megan was there during Coronation night. Did they give you any advice?
Well, my game plan first is to sleep, because I haven't slept since Coronation night. So I just want to have maybe 24 hours one day where I'm just at home and I sleep. But then after that, when I wake up the next morning, I'm pretty sure that I'll be calling Megan, asking for advice, because she won, she was there, and she'll know, I think, exactly what to do. And that's the same with all the other queens, because they've placed very highly. We had runners up and all that. So
okay, well, that's all the time we have for our serious questions. We're gonna go into a round of around 20 quick questions now. So super quick. I'm gonna make you choose between 2 things first for now, and then I'll tell you what to do next. So go.
So
ready?
I select one?
Yes.
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Basketball or softball?
Softball.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
My Heart Will Go On.
Sample.
No! You want me to sing?
Yeah.
Wherever you are. Okay, that's all I can do.
Beach
Obviously,
or
that's
mountains?
not my talent.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
What's your most embarrassing moment?
I think I have a lot, because I'm a very clumsy person, but When I was 8 years old, I ran through a glass door, and the whole glass door broke.
Oh.
So I didn't just hit it, like the whole thing shattered, and I ended up in the hospital for like a month. Yeah, it became serious all of a sudden. But yeah, that was my most embarrassing moment.
Okay. What do you do to relax?
Well, I really love animals. I have 3 dogs and a cat and a turtle at home. So when I'm free, I'm usually just with them.
If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would be your dream job?
Well, I was a TV host. I've been a TV host, and I really love doing that.
Yeah.
I think that when you're a TV host, other than going to different places and seeing different things, you also get to interact with a lot of people. Like sometimes I would interview someone from the basketball world, and then I would interview someone from the political world.
Yeah.
So you learn a lot, and it's like a classroom because you hear so many different perspectives from so many different people.
You're saying you have a lot of animals, pets at home. So dogs or cats?
Dogs.
A question from our pageant contributor, Voltaire.
Oh,
One-piece swimsuit or 2-piece? Is that hard? Is that hard?
One piece.
One piece. Okay. Evening gown or swimsuit?
Evening gown.
Camp or no camp?
Camp.
Straight or curly?
Curly.
Okay. For this next set of words, it's just a quick word association. So just say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Phobia.
Heights.
Dream destination.
Palawan.
Pet peeve.
People who think that they're better than other people just because of what they look like.
Celeb crush.
Viola Pascual.
Confidence.
Megan Young.
Beauty.
Megan Young.
Makeup.
BYS Philippines.
Comfort food.
Chicken McNugget.
Viola Pascual.
Super guapo.
Social media.
Social good.
Okay. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys for watching. That was Rappler Talk Entertainment. We were here with Laura Lehmann. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.